Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and RobZ Realism mod. We are back here on the beaches of Dunkirk. This is part 2 of 2 in our little mini-series, and we're gonna wrap it up with another epic last stand featuring an even more epic final last-minute evacuation to get the absolute last British soldiers here on this beach, off this beach. Obviously, there would still be quite a lot of captured soldiers and airmen and sailors and whatnot left in France at the time, but these are still free men to some extent, and the Germans are attacking them. Yes, this is a fictional scenario. This is not just an evacuation. This isn't just a bunch of civilian boats and whatnot coming across to just pick these men up, which was great, which was epic, by the way. But this is something beyond that. I wanted more of a Hollywood-style finisher to this. So this is the day after the big day during Operation Dynamo. These men here are forgotten to some extent. Some were perhaps sleeping, some were perhaps eating or elsewhere, or hiding. Who knows? The beach was huge. The evacuation was a mess. It wasn't very organized. But anyway, we do have some men here left. This is the morning after the big evacuation, so there aren't many Brits remaining. Obviously, the beach was huge. This is only a part of it, but it's very detailed, very nice. This map has also been made by Grumpy Kid and Ace, whose map you also saw in the previous video. This is going to be the last World War II battle kind of thing I do for a while. I'm going to focus on my Red Rising series because you guys love it. And so far, I think out of 10 people, 8 of you would rather see more Red Rising than this. And I just honestly have to really focus on work for a second and produce content that more of you out there want to see, despite me actually loving all this World War II stuff. But don't worry, we're not going to leave it entirely. There will be chances for it. Another thing is, I get sent a shit ton of maps every freaking day. Maybe not every day, but at least every week. So I get a load of maps. And honestly, it takes me a long time to make these battles, to do the scripting and everything. And I just don't have the time to spend an awful lot of effort on a map that or a battle rather, that I've covered like 10 times. And in this case, Stalingrad. How many freaking times have I not done something concerning Stalingrad? I can't count it. But if you go back and actually search the word Stalingrad in my video library, I bet you tens and thousands and billions of videos will show up featuring that. So that is why you do not have priority, good sir. It is nothing personal. You just do not have it. Produce something perhaps for Star Wars or Red Rising or another mod, or perhaps Born in the Fire America. Everyone here loves Born in the Fire America, by the way. And do something unique. If it comes to World War II, Dunkirk is amazing. I haven't seen a Dunkirk map before, but I've seen a million Stalingrad maps. Do something like an epic fortress. Like, by the way, like that map, what was it called? The evacuation of that freaking, the final battle of World War II, which was also the most epic and craziest last stand at that castle. That castle, I can't remember it, but you know what I'm talking about. I did a video on that, and that stuff is cool. That shit is really cool. But anyway, so we're doing a fictional battle here. The Germans are here to sweep and do a little cleanse of the beach the day after the operation was finished. Obviously, there was a lot of soldiers on the beach, so the Germans wouldn't necessarily want to just attack the beach when there's so many armed Brits here and stuff. But most of the equipment has been moved off. Obviously, a shit ton of equipment had to be left for the Germans during the evacuation. Lives were more important than ammunition at the time, of course. And it was a huge success. Epic movie, by the way. I hope you've seen Dunkirk by now. If you haven't, do so. But this is the story that was never told because it never happened. But the few Brits who were left back on the beaches, they're receiving help, but they have to hold out. One cruiser has been sent out with a landing craft that's obviously hanging off the side of the cruiser. Obviously, it's not going to cross the entire channel like that. But yes, it is, and they're gonna be here soon, and they're gonna pick the final men up here. They have an estimate that there's about a platoon remaining, but the Germans are coming. This is the way I wanted to do this map, a heroic kind of movie-like scenario. And we haven't gone through the positions yet, but you can see that there's Brits spread out along this beach and along the dunes up here. This is the Bray Dunes, by the way, which was the most northeastern area of the Dunkirk beaches, I do believe. And hell no, we're not going to have any silhouettes on. I hate fucking highlighted silhouettes. If you can't see the enemy, then they're not supposed to be seen. Why have silhouettes on? It's, like, stupid. There is, however, a battle that comes with this map over on the Steam Workshop, but it was a little too chaotic for my taste. And it's just an all-out carnage slaughter. This is something else. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy one, which is why I allowed myself to speak out a little more freely there in the intro. And here's a message to everyone watching who's complaining about long introductions. There's a skip button that you can skip into the battle and find it. It's just like I watch a Netflix show and I'm not bothered watching the 4-minute intro or whatever. I'll skip it. It doesn't mean I'm going to send an email to Netflix and be like, please, cut the bullshit. Don't give any credit to anyone. Don't explain anything. I just want to see the rest, you know? And that's everyone's own decision, but it's not my fault for you being uninterested in history or other details. That's just an insult in itself, so I don't need to say anything bad about you. Just we'll leave it at that. Anyway, I do agree, though. I mean, a 10-minute intro for a 10-minute battle is a little excessive, but what is this? What, 5 minutes for a 20-minute battle? Come on. Get real. So, what do we have? What the bloody hell is going on? We've got Germans attacking everywhere. In small sections at a time. They're starting to get here. They've obviously been fighting the French and Belgians as well. There's battles going on during this time. This wasn't the final confrontation in Western Europe before D-Day. Of course not. The French were still fighting elsewhere. But the Brits had to get out. We have men here from the New Hampshire Regiment. Or the Hampshire Regiment. Not the New Hampshire Regiment. That would be an American thing, I believe. But, yes, the Hampshire Regiment from the... What is it? The Tyne Tees? The TT, 50th Northumbrian Division. Yes, you see the patches there on their shoulders. Or arms. Look at this. Glorious. And they have a progressive defense here. We've got about a platoon of British men from the 50th Northumbrian in this area, gradually defending their positions, leading back to this section where we have men from the HD, the Highland Division, the 51st. Yes, you can see that on their shoulders and whatnot. And they're also defending various positions here. These Scotsmen. The battle has not come to them yet, but they are ready. Obviously, this is a progressive defense so that the men back here who are either wounded or most likely wounded, which is why they're not fighting up there, we're waiting for their evacuation as well, and they best just stay here and take cover now that the battle has begun. An officer doesn't crouch. Oh, okay, he does, but anyway. He was last to do it, almost. This man stands. He's just calling out the different locations of the troops. So far, the Brits are doing quite good. They haven't given up much ground. But it's vital now that that evacuation arrives. I'm really hoping that this battle has a cool kind of like last stand evacuation feeling towards the end there, with everything just clicking in the final second before the positions get overrun. It'll be up to me to evacuate the soldiers, but it'll be up to the soldiers to hold until that evacuation plan comes into effect. Hitting a lot of dirt. I'd reconsider my aim if I was him. Or I'd aim at something else. Damn. We got Germans here on the dunes, in the bushes. We're gaining some positions. Ooh. Starting to take a lot of casualties around here, though. There's a good amount. They're all hiding. Their numbers will be made more clear later on as they progress. Let's find a good stable position and get an idea of the battle from the view here of the officer just behind his shoulders. I suppose he's trying to direct fire as well. Call it out to the Bren gunners on his either sides. We'll see if this Webley is whipped up soon and pointed at the enemy. So yes, super excited to kick off September. I aim... Oh shit, that guy was shot in the head. A big blood splash. Covered the entire inside of the bunker. Very excited for September. I'm aiming to make it my best month on YouTube this year. Now, 2016 was like the greatest for me ever. 2017 won't be as good, given an extreme amount of reasons. One, I've been a drunk bastard the entire summer because of everything I went through during the spring. And so it's just like, you know, repercussions and follow-up consequences of things. But the autumn might save it to some extent. But I feel like I've let a lot of viewers down by not uploading as greater content as I previously have, and it hurts me to read comments where people say that it's getting worse, because and I know why. It's because I haven't been as passionate about what I'm doing. I know why, and it is why. Well, the reason I just stated, and it really hurts me, but not because you say it, but because it's true. So we're kicking back into full gear this September. It's my birthday month, and I've decided to also remain sober. It's a white month. We call that in Sweden a white month. It's when you do nothing that intoxicates your system, essentially. And I've had quite a lot of drinking this summer. Honestly, I'm not sure why. Well, I know why, because of the spring, but generally never felt that way before about things, and it's just, man, have I gotten nothing done this summer. I mean, in terms of YouTube, not as many videos and not the kind of quality that I would have aimed for previously. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time, or no time really, now that I've talked about it. This officer has been shot dead, which is just horrific in itself, and I do believe the Brits are starting to lose their ground here. How are the Scots doing? They're still holding this high ground. Once the Germans knock these Scots out, it'll be easier for them to wing down on the center. And then they'll be in range of the wounded fighters back here, who are still just holding their ground. Not really moving, but I guess they're set up in a kind of a good firing line. Once again, these men are wounded to some extent. So that's why they're not up there fighting. But they'll at least make a stand if forced to. So I'm not going to be controlling the AI at all, really, to be honest. We'll see if the Brits choose to pull back. They have the ability to pull back if faced with overwhelming numbers. And the German numbers are indeed increasing. But it's going to be a long struggle here as they try and make it down the beach. They're fighting some pretty battle-hardened Brits here. Who've been here in this French campaign for an extended amount of time. But a few kills can make a big difference. We have a lot of Germans crawling around here. They might be flanking around. A few hand grenades here in this gun position will knock out a lot of soldiers, and then it'll open up a pretty big front for the Germans. We'll see if they'll use hand grenades, or what they'll. Yep, there we go. Speaking of the devil, there comes a hand grenade landed on top of his bonnet. Oh. Not a bonnet, that's something else. I know what a bonnet is, but that isn't a bonnet. It's got a different word. No casualties, though. He was hit by shrapnel because there's a big blood stain there, but he's still fine. Something else kind of exploded a bit, but that could have been anything, really. Ammunition, perhaps. Some unused shells. It's a pretty solid firing line. Side by side with the Scots up there on the high ground, but in between there are no fighting men. There's just one here, one Scotsman, one Highlander, and he's opening up at the Germans back there at a pretty long range. I really do love these prolonged firefights. There's something really cool about them. Lots of panicked shooting. Kind of just comes with the situation, I suppose. These men have been hit as well. They're bleeding, but they have no choice. They can't really lay down their weapons. Oh, and I said MG39 in the previous video. That's just another example of me thinking about what the gun is called in the game. It's not that the gun is called MG39 in the game, but in the editor selection menu, they're called MG_39 because it is meant to represent the MG gunner of the year of 1939. which would obviously be using the MG34, and it's just a brain freeze thing. And once again, BTR means literally armored transport in Russian, and since the developers of the game are supposedly primarily Russian, and I can't speak for that entirely, but at least the more original Faces of War and Men of War have many Russian ties to it. They had, it says BTR on the right side of the menu, because to them that means APC essentially, so that's why I say BTR. Oh, is that a Vickers opening up? That's a nice little position they've got themselves down there. The Germans have come a decent way. They're starting to get close to the positions back here. Oh, I love hearing that distant gunfire. It's hard to tell what's going on up there. We have a few officers back here just waiting for any signs of that ship. This position is falling. In just a matter of seconds now, this final British rifleman will be shot dead. I would like to make, however, the raid of Dieppe. Isn't it called Dieppe or Dieppe? Dieppe? I believe it's just called Dieppe, the raid of Dieppe. Yeah, Dieppe. Oh shit. Just never had the idea of pronouncing that word before. I don't think I've ever mentioned it. But I really would like that as well. So if any mappers watching, that would be something unique that I haven't done on my channel before. Canadians and shit, you know? Just fucking attacking the coast and... Oh man, that would be so cool. A bunch of Churchill tanks rolling up as well. You know that classic image of a Kriegsmarine soldier posing with a captured machete and in front of a destroyed Churchill? Cool stuff. No sign of the boat yet, or the landing craft that will carry these men out. No sign, no sign. Damn it to hell! They should be here, but it's the time is ticking out. This position has been entirely knocked out, and what's holding the flank now is this MG position. Oh, they're taking a lot of fire. I have a few men here on the far right flank. Also in immediate danger here. We might see a few more German grenades being thrown. Perhaps, perhaps. I love hearing that gun spin. Just echoes throughout the battlefield. Really cuts through a lot of the rifle sound and all the other guns. You really hear when something more major is firing. It's a cool feeling. It definitely adds a nice battlefield ambience to it. It's epic. Isn't this just the perfect boys game? And I'm talking boys as in, you know, when you were young, at least when I grew up, and you got the good old army men and the figures, and you were playing with the toy soldiers and everything. That's at least what I was doing. And this reminds me nicely of that, actually. Damn. It's all quiet back here. Not a single sign of it at all. And the Germans are just coming closer and closer now. This MG nest is about to be just jumped any second now. Oh, a few pistol shots could be heard. We'll see if they start resorting to hand grenades soon. It would be the more logical choice in my opinion. Oh man, they're fighting over the dunes here. This is so cool. Angriff! Folgt mir! Oh. Looking back here and no sign of the boat yet. Two men remain here. Three, actually. But the flanking protection have all been killed. Oh, I think they're starting to pull back now. This MG gunner is going to remain in his position and actually hold. Oh, grenades being thrown. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, you threw it at your friend! Oh! An officer who does that needs to man up for it and just take over. That was an accident. Defense is thinning out. People are starting to retreat. It's looking grim. Okay, we need to establish a slightly better hold up here in case of the obviously very late and tricky arrival here of the rescue boat, which it more or less is in a situation like this. So we'll send a few gentlemen up. Obviously not wounded, seeing as they're not part of this column back here. But they are the final line between them and the men waiting on the beach without cover. Oh, that officer's kind of just absolutely turned to bits as he's just killed by a hand grenade. Hold them back, lads. This is where it gets intense. The final minutes now. We need to hold them back. I'm very close to actually sending the wounded men here. Oh, bloody hell, look at the explosions back there. We do have a few Bren gunners down here. And now, if I know a Bren gunner correct, is that he loves to Bren it up. So we'll set up a perimeter of a few Bren gunners over here. We need to set up a perimeter. We need to hold it. The officer, you're meant to coordinate the evacuation, but you need to coordinate the defense of the evacuation now. Corporal, move up. We really can't risk the Germans getting too close. We do have a few Brits fighting up here still. A few men here from the 51st Highland still holding. The Germans are getting ever closer and closer. No sign of the boat yet. What is the delay? We'll all be slaughtered or captured. Oh, grenades are being traded back and forth. Bloody fuck. Bloody hell. This is a close one. Get that jam sorted, soldier. Oh, Jesus. Now the wounded are opening up in a volley here. That's all the chance they have. Get a few men out to establish a perimeter. We can't all be sitting ducks here on the beach. The ones who can walk, move. And the ones who can't, crawl back and cover. This evacuation is going to shit. We'll all be slaughtered here. I guess they've forgotten about us. Is that how it is? Huh? Jeez. Oh man. Get behind cover, some sort of cover, guys. The Germans, there's so many of them. Pull back. Oh, jeez. Not a second too late. We are leaving. Go, 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 go. Moving. We should be expecting a bit of a bombardment as well from up the coast. Let's go, lads. Let's go. That's everyone. Let's move. No, that's not everyone. Come here, you tosses. We're not leaving without you. Get in. Is that everyone? That's everyone. Let's get the hell out of here. That bombardment from the destroyer off the coast, or the cruiser, or whatever the hell it is, will probably keep the Germans off our back as we pull out. Oh, jeez. What an epic, epic last stand. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I thought it got really tricky towards the end. I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Hope you guys did as well, and I will see you guys very soon again. Oh, what a movie-like ending. Bye.